Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode of Bitcoin Trade, gonna go over some chart analysis and some experience I've had that I think I should share with anyone who might be interested or just wants to know what's going on in Bitcoinia. Um, so let me go over some chart analysis first, and I'll talk about some of my experience in investing in Bitcoins. And so let's start off with what's happening here. And whoa, that's a 51-hour chart. Let's pull back a little bit. Okay, looked really bad, didn't it? But not too bad. Anyways, if you've seen my previous episodes, you'll know where these lines came from. And if you haven't, I would just tell you to go back to my episodes and one before this or a couple before this, and you'll see where I got these lines. And so this is the rise here and a slight breakout back down to breakout, and then it was hovering, and then it's breaking down here. It looked like it was gonna push up a little. I'm not sure what's happening, if there's some kind of news or if this is just a technical correction, but it looks like there's a sell-off going on right here. But interestingly enough, it just stops right around here along this resistance, and we'll see what happens. But I really do feel it's gonna move around a little bit before it, before there's some confidence in the price to either move up and break through, or it may even break down further. I don't know how much further it can break down, because like I said, it gets to a point where mining Bitcoins, there's a couple things, and I mentioned this in my previous episodes, is that miners, after a certain price that it goes down, I mean it just become unfeasible to mine Bitcoins, and it becomes cheaper to just go ahead and just buy Bitcoins. I mean, it's more economical to buy Bitcoins, because you'll get more Bitcoins by buying them than you would, buying any kind of mining rig. So, there's two different kind of worlds that are going on here, and I have always made a comparison to the digital world. It sounds stupid. I sound sometimes when I talk, it sounds like I'm talking about like Digimon, like the digital world, and then the physical world. But in essence, that's what we're really doing here. In the digital world, I mean, there's mining rigs. In the physical world, I mean, it's just cheaper to just buy them. So, anyways, let's just go over some chart analysis here first, and it just looks like it's just hovering right around here. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. It looked like it was going to turn up, and then it just violently turned down. And if you're not up at this time of, I'm up all the time. Whenever I fall asleep, I wake up, but it's obviously not daytime here in America. It's nighttime, so it's probably daytime somewhere else, probably in China or something. So this is a sell-off, but it stops right around here, and I'll get to the other charts here, and then I'll get to some experience that I've had that I like to share. So let's go over. This is Bitsy on a 1 hour. I just want to pull back. There we go. So this is Bitsy, and you'll know from my previous episodes where all these lines came from. So it looks like it hit up. It's definitely breaking out of this channel here, or this resistance. So it's gone up, come back down, pushed up, It's gone sideways a little bit. Try to push up, and it looked like it was trying to push up because this is a whole nother line here, but it just couldn't, and just breaking down. And it's a little different. Chart analysis is a little different, but you'll notice that it stopped right around. Hopefully, it'll stop right around here at this support. So it's already gone to 549, I think, or something like that. We'll see what happens if it breaks through here. It's probably gonna go follow down on a downtrend like this. If this is just a little minor correction before another attempt to push up, like I said, if the price goes down so far, it's just so much cheaper to buy the Bitcoins than it is to mine for them. So at some point, the demand's gonna rise. And if you've seen some of my other episodes on PAX, I think it's a great opportunity for PAX to, I guess, you can attempt to invest in Bitcoins but you got to understand what you're doing, how to trade it, and you'll get a better understanding. And this could be a great funding vehicle for your PAX, if you know how to trade, if you know how to do this, or even taking donations in it. I mean, you could just literally just set up a website, have people fill out like a form in order to do this. I don't know if there's any verification that's really needed or not. I'm not really sure the details of what information they want, but I mean, literally, you just set up a website. Maybe we'll just click on a button, fill out a form, and then push send, and scan their Bitcoins, and voila. And on the other side, they would just use BitPay or Coinbase or some other processor exchanger, and you can limit the amount of Bitcoins being like $100, I think is what they're talking about. Although they currently have delayed any decisions on exactly what they want to do, but that's a way to get some funds. So a lot of things happening here. So here, you're seeing a pretty good sell-off on Bitsy. It's really stopped around 449. I don't know why. Some things you just can't explain, and I don't really want to explain it, but I know it's following this channel right here, between these two lines, and also potentially between these two. So if you look at it, the way it's going, it's hit here, it's hit this resistance, which is a new line, by the way, okay? And then it's coming down, bouncing off of this, going sideways, making an attempt, then going back down. And I find it interesting that it falls within this channel, which also slightly follows, if you know what, the chart's going this way. So when it hits here, it's basically going through a range from here to here between these two price ranges. But the way the price action moves, of course, it hits up and then down and sideways and tries to go up again, but only to hit this resistant line to go back down, but not quite because it's support. So very interesting. How these things work out. I mean, don't try to fight. Don't try to fight it. Go with the flow. Try not to go against the grain. It's so much easier if you go with the grain, right? So this is, just kind of very simple lines to do. Let's go on to another chart here. Looks like the price is even falling further. So here's, and same thing. It just looks like it's following this right now, this channel. It has gone down a little further, maybe at who knows, if it breaks down something as violent as this. This is on a 6 hour, so when you look at this, it really looks pretty big, and it is big. It's dropped, I think, $50. This is Bitfin, right there. See, Bitfin, and it's basically dropped $50 here on a 6-hour chart. So, um, but if you've seen my previous episode, I really did feel like it was going to range here between these 2 points, because it just seems like that's what it was going to do. But if you knew, um, if you've seen my previous videos on setting your limits and your stops and everything, then you'd probably be sleeping right now and don't even know what happened until you woke up. But anyways, if you're just averaging it, you know, you're probably somewhere right around here at this price range, which would be 475 maybe. I usually don't, well, from top to here, but really you'll probably start your price right here and then go down in whatever increments that you wanted to go down. But averaging your buys and your limits and your stops, everything on a predetermined price. That in some exchanges like Bitfin will charge you less for the trade as a limit versus market orders. So that's whatever saves you your bitcoins, that's kind of important. That more value, right? And so let's go on to Coinbase here. Coinbase, same scenario, and it's kind of just interesting. It's just the way it moves in this channel, and with also in this channel, as the chart is going this way, it could be just hitting up and then slowly working its way down. Right now it's just violently working its way down, but it may go up again, and then it's just following this channel. But eventually it's going to hit down to here, and this is going to be a big test on whether it can keep above this. If it can't and it breaks down again, there could be more pressure to go down. But a lot of scenarios can happen. It can just make a little correction here, and then next thing you know, it'll go back up. So paying attention to how the price action reacts may help in your trades. All right. And then if you look at here, there you go. It's really turning down. But let's see on another one here. See if okay. So as the signal is going down, it was kind of green, kind of red. Now it's starting to really be mostly red. So for some of you who have paralysis by analysis, but then again, by the time it's red, it's already kind of too late. You already, I don't know, it depends when you bought in, but when you usually you want to, this is how I know if it's on a downtrend. Most of it's red. It's mostly on a downtrend. But how would you mitigate some of that risk? And I think I've already mentioned in my previous episode, you can average cost it by setting your limits and stops, and every $10 increments, $20 increments, or how many of your bitcoins, half a bitcoin, quarter of a bitcoin, 1/100th of a bitcoin, whatever works for you. If that's the way you want to trade, there's different strategies and ideas or different ways to trade these things. So, all right. So let me go down here to let me just put it on Bitstamp here, and I'll go over some experience I've had recently with some of the banking institutions I've been banking at, and my experience with most banks have been very positive. Since the new guidelines came out, and some of what Texas guidelines, the IRS guidelines have come out. I've noticed, and also, since I'm kind of using the banks, obviously they can see what I'm doing. Um, and I have to admit, I'm starting to get a little warmer with some of them. Some of the banks are just terrific. I wish I could tell you, but I think it's not, you know, I don't want to disclose anything, but I wish I could because I think I could. Here's what I will say. Um, they're a global bank. Go find yourself a global bank, and I find that the global banks understand what I'm doing. They get it. They understand it. Some of the more, national banks, some of them get it. Some of them don't. Some of them I had to, believe it or not, I had to educate, and they feel a little bit more comfortable with what I'm doing. Others have straight up just asked me, "Are you trading bitcoins?" And I'm not gonna lie to them. I mean, if they ask me, I'll say yes. You know, but you know, I I do tell them I'm investing, and some of the things you can do is not only can you invest in bitcoins, but you can go beyond bitcoins. You can really go beyond bitcoins more than that. If I mentioned in my previous episodes that you can transfer value of money onto a bitcoin, make a gain through the bitcoin, transfer that gain back out into, well, legal tender, and you can either reinvest it or it doesn't have to necessarily be into another cryptocurrency. You can actually, you know, start a business with some of the funds you've gained, some of the gains you made. You can purchase property. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in so many things beyond cryptocurrencies. But uh, cryptocurrency is going to be a big part of that whole picture because it's a way to transfer value. So whatever you know investments that you diversify yourself in, like I don't know, real estate, property, and the value you get and the gains you get from there, you can go right back into Bitcoin, and then after that, you go from Bitcoin, go right back into those other investments, and make a gain through those other investments, and go right back to whatever legal tender, and then back into Bitcoin, and vice versa. And I mean, it's just more than Bitcoin. It really creates wealth. And not only does it create wealth, it actually shares. You can spread that wealth willingly, not have any government, you know, spread it for you. You can yourself choose how to spread that wealth by spending it, spending your uh, value or transferring value into something else until you've basically become very wealthy. Maybe not in terms of legal tender, but in terms of net worth. And I'm going to say some things here that I've never really thought I would ever say, but um, I'm a witness to this. I am actually doing this, so I can tell you with honesty that this is kind of what's happening and just my experience with it. Um, how can I say this? I mean, I never thought I'd be saying this, but here I am. This is, I guess in a way it's a revolution. I hear people say, Bitcoin's revolutionary, it's a revolution going on in the finance industry, but I also feel that this is a new age. Oh goodness. This is a new age, and it's a revolution into the new age. Not only that, but it's also a new world order. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's it's literally it's really changed my life. And it'd be so easy for me to say. It would really so easy. It would be easier if I could just say I'm doing it for the money or I'm doing it for the bitcoins, which originally that's what it was. But as I'm doing more and more of this, I'm starting to realize this is greater than anything that I could ever do. This has become greater than my personal needs, my my desire to become wealthy, or you know desire to make sure my family and my children, my children's children, and their children's children, um, never have to worry about financing or finance. It's become a lot bigger than that. And so when I say new world order, it's changing. The way I see it, it's changing everything. And the reason why I say this is because my experience with some of the financial institutions, some have been really positive, uh, except for one in particular. And I'm not going to name that institution. I'll give it a pseudonym. Um, we'll call this institution PJ Dorkin Jays. Okay, we'll call it. That's what I'll call. That's a pseudonym for this institution is PJ Dorkin Jays. But I'm sure you're pretty smart out there to figure out who it is. Um, anyways, I got a letter from them, and they make it so difficult to do anything there, to the point that it really becomes ridiculous to even bank with this financial institution, to the point where it's like, what's the value of me having my money with you? There is none. It's a one-way street. It's all about them, and they don't. Seems like they don't really care about you. They may care, like, if you're if you have a loan, or if you want a mortgage, if you want a business loan, you want to borrow money. Basically, if you want to put yourself into debt, that's what I feel like that institution, that's all they want to do, is put you into debt, put you into slavery. And it's just kind of weird. Anyway, I got a letter, and I wasn't doing a lot with them anyway, because they made it so restrictive to create wealth and build my wealth or build anybody else's wealth, that it really wasn't a lot going on. So, but I got a letter, and it said that they would basically they noticed some unusual activity, and which is kind of weird because it's no different activity that I would normally do with or without Bitcoins. I put money in, I take money out. I put money in, I take money out. Or I should say, money goes in, money goes out. Money goes in, money goes out. Um, and they made it sound like, they're concerned for you, like, oh, for your protection, we're gonna cancel your account because we've been noticing unusual activity. So I went to the branch where I opened my account, and they said, well, there's no notes here. It just says call this number on the letter. And I said, all right, And so I did, and I got a person to answer. And this is, for a large financial institution that's supposed to be a U.S. bank, they got customer service in some, you know, other country, probably because it's cheaper to do that. And, that's one strike against them. They're outsourcing jobs that should be in America, um, you know, just because they want to make 1 cent to every dollar, extra or whatever. And, they just straight out told me that, you know, uh, my banking activities are, not in line with their business. And I'm like, well, you guys are a bank. Money goes in, money comes out. What what activity would you expect me to do? And they just kept repeating the same thing. My activities are not in line with our business model or whatever. And I just said, you're a bank. What do you expect me to do? Um, and then finally, it just came to the point where, I kept asking, like, can you give me an example of what I did, which is not in line with your business? What exactly did I do to for you to just close my account? And PJ Dorkin Jays, um, finally they just said, we're just ending our relationship with you because we can. And that is true. That is so 100% true. There's no bank here that has to have uh, any relationship with you at all. Um, and that's fine, but at some point you got to realize I'm not the only one. I am not the only one, and at some point it's going to reach, bitcoins or cryptocurrencies are going to reach a critical mass. What are you going to do when everybody is using cryptocurrencies? Are you going to say, well, we're going to cancel everyone's account? So that's why I say we're in a new age. We're leaving the old age and we're entering into a new age. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is the only way I can explain it. We're in a new world order. And the old order does not work anymore. It has come to a point where it is killing innovation. It is killing progress. It's killing people. We can't freely create our wealth anymore. It's bottlenecked. I mean, that's the only way I can explain it. And I can't believe I'm saying it or trying to explain it this way, but that's the only way I can rationally explain what just happened. So, PJ Dorkin Jays, at some point, you're going to get left behind. At some point, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, you're, you know, old world versus new world, old age versus new age. We're passing through a different phase, and I'm just sorry to hear that. It's a shame that they not everyone can appreciate the well, the way it's changed my life. It really has. So, anyways, let me conclude this episode, and hopefully, everyone out there has a great day of trading. So, feel free to leave a comment, like, dislike, or even a video response. And by the way, just to let you know, I'm still able to, despite the fact that my account has been closed, I'm still able to use PJ Dorkin J's. Surprisingly, I am. So they still haven't really stopped me anyway. They just more or less, shot themselves in the foot. Or how about this one? They cut their own nose off because they didn't like the way their nose looked. That's the best way I can put it. But anyways, stay tuned for the next episode. And until then, bye.